Tetairoa McMillan has one of the best analytical profiles in the 2025 NFL draft class, and I'm here to show you why. We're going to take a look at 6 main metrics in terms of analytics evaluating him. One, market share data, efficiency data, age and competition, advanced receiving analytics, down and distance analytics, and advanced market share analytics. The data collected for the charts are from College Football Reference and collegefootballstats.com. For a glossary of terms, please go to the link in the description where you will find a plethora of data information on many different genres, whether it's the NFL draft, the actual NFL seasons, NFL team analysis, everything else is on there. So thank you so much, and let's get to the video. So taking a look at McMillan's market share analytics, he did really well, just fantastic here. 95 percentile in terms of his receiving market share, 98 percentile in terms of total offensive market share, and then 91 percentile in terms of touchdown market share. All those numbers are exactly where you want them to be. There's really nothing to say other than he was just dominant. And when you look at the All-Pro averages and the Pro Bowl averages and the starter averages, everything pretty much checks out for him there. Then when you look at efficiency analytics, this is where there was a little bit of inconsistencies here. So for one, he had a good yards per reception score in the 60 percentile area, but his touchdown percentage was more so in the 40 percentile area. So what does that mean? Well, it means that he did get a lot of touchdowns at Arizona, but the frequency of those touchdowns per touch was a little bit less compared to other wide receivers in the NFL, or at least prior, NFL, based on NFL draft prospects from that perspective. So, not a terrible number to have, but not exactly within the averages of an All Pro and Pro Bowl player, which is one little concern with him. Then when you get to age and competition, adjusted analytics did fantastic. Pretty much hit within the All Pro threshold, Pro Bowl average area, and starter average area when it comes to his age, his MSA rating, and his pass rating. So again, those are scores that look at what was his age, what was his level of competition, whether it's the strength of the team or strength of the schedule, and then of course taking a look at his overall market share combined with all those numbers. And this is by far if there was any one metric that was the most correlative out of all the metrics I'm going to talk about today, this is the one, and he does really well in terms of that metric. Then we get to advanced receiving analytics. So this takes a look at a different sample size. So the market share data takes a look at the sample size from 1969 to 2024. This takes a look at data from 2009 to 2024, specifically from collegefootballstats.com. Now, why did I use a different source? Well, they have first down completion percentage data there. They have 15 plus yard, catches, 25 plus yard catches. So it kind of gives you more breadth and depth for this data. And based on these numbers here, his TD percentage was a similar situation here. So whether you look at him from a larger sample size, which is the market share data, or you look at him from a smaller sample size, which is from 2009 to 2024, he still has about an average TD percentage or below average when it came to the more broad data there. So TD percentage, for whatever reason, touchdowns per touch is something where he's not exactly as high. I think that a lot of that had to do with him being a possession receiver, but that's kind of the general idea there. And then when you look at his, first down completion percentage area was solid. His 15 plus, percentage of 15 plus yard catches was good, as well as his 25 plus yards. So this is the percentage of his catches that were 15 plus and 25 plus compared to the sample from 2009 to 2024, which you can see and view and collect at collegefootballstats.com. Then when you get to down and distance conversion analytics, he did well, especially on third down situations. He was in the 86th percentile in terms of his ability to convert in third down situations. Second down situations, he was in the 30 percentile, and then he was in 54 percentile in terms of getting first downs on first down situations. He was 54. So, again, third down situations, the downs that really matter, the money downs, the gotta have it, he did really well. Second down, meh. First down, meh. Okay, not bad, but okay. And that kind of gives you an idea of why his first down conversion rate score from the prior slide was a little wonky. Is because he does have that inconsistency in first and second down situations. So he wasn't dominant across the board in terms of that. Then when you look at advanced market share analytics, this is a really great number for him to have. So this takes a look at, his market share for the team that he was on in terms of first downs, 15 plus yard catches, and 25 plus yard catches. So he dominated, just dominated in terms of Arizona. So compared to you take his number of first downs compared to Arizona's first downs in receiving situations. And then you compare it to every single wide receiver from 2009 2024 in the sample, and he was 96% better than everyone in terms of that situation. 97.8 in terms of 15 plus yard plays, and then 25, he was 99 percentile there. So, this can kind of speak to some of the issues. A lot of it probably had to do with offensive system. Offense that has, higher completion percentage, higher attempts, more shorter passes. So that could be many of the reasons why his TD percentage is lower. But it, again, that is sort of the concern with him is, even though he did come from that type of a system, you would like those numbers to be better than what they are. So that's the only sort of concern with him there. Overall, Tetairoa McMillan, he has elite market share production. His efficiency data lowers his projection a little bit. He's more Michael Floyd than Mike Evans based on his overall profile. And I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything like that, but that's kind of a similar kind of profile for him. Michael Floyd has similar situations. Not take the character stuff out of the equation, because again, I don't know what kind of character McMillan is. He probably is way more of a guy who loves football, but that's kind of the general feel. And Michael Floyd could have been a stud, if he was able to put everything together, especially having Larry Fitzgerald on the other side of the football field. If you guys remember that era, but that's kind of like the feel for him based on his data. Could he be Mike Evans? Sure. I mean, anybody who's watched him on film knows his hands catching ability. He catches with his hands. He rarely have I ever really seen him body catch too much. He really does pluck the football out of the air on film, and those are things that are really important at the wide receiver position. So, he could go on to be a very dominant possession wide receiver at the NFL level. May be better than Drake London. And again, he's shown the ability to be dominant in terms of getting touchdowns. I think if he played in an offense that had a much higher touchdown, was more, I'm trying to find the best way to put it, was less spready and more traditional, like an NFL offense, I think he probably would have had more touchdowns per touch than what he did have, and because of the offense that was at Arizona. So I think that's the biggest thing that really is to kind of take from this is that even though he does have some inconsistencies, there are some things that are less than what you want. When it comes to the core stuff that matters, again, the first slide I showed you, the receiving market share, the total offensive market share, and touchdown market share, that's foundation, guys. That is one of the most important things because it mattered back in the 60s, it mattered in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. It's mattered for a very long time. If you are dominant in terms of receiving market share, dominant in terms of total offensive market share, dominant in terms of touchdown market share, if those three areas are met, you might have some inconsistencies. There might be some things that are a little bit off, but you're still going to be a great football player. You really are, if you're dominant in those areas. So I would say that about McMillan is, I do think he is worthy of a top 5 selection. I think anybody who's watched his film, you look at the data, you combine all that stuff together, you got a really great NFL wide receiver prospect. And it's just nice to see, it's refreshing to see a guy like him, with his ability to, pluck the ball out of the air. It really is, especially for a big guy, because there's a lot of big wide receivers who body catch way too much. So that's a good thing to see. So if all this stuff out of the way and you made it to the end, check these videos out right here. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.